G'day! In today's video I'm opening up a HP 15 db1068au. Hopefully you can read that there. And this particular one is currently overheating. So I'm expecting to find dust on it, or dust in there. And also we'll be replacing the thermal paste, and we'll check out what else can be changed or upgraded in this machine while we have it open. So to begin with, we're going to need a Phillips head screwdriver, pair of tweezers, somewhere to put your screws, as there will be screws hidden under here. So we do have the obvious ones we can see, and we'll also find out if they're the same length along the way. So far all these ones are the same. And we'll get the one at the front here. So all the visible screws are the same length. Now if I dig up underneath the corner here, I should be able to lift this up. And the adhesive stayed attached onto there. It may or may not for you. And I'll do the front one as well. That has stayed on there as well. So got lucky in that particular instance. And let's get these screws out hidden under here. So there looks to be 4 at the back and 3 at the front. These ones out. There we go. Now we will kind of pry it open. So I'll open it slightly. I'll grab a corner. This corner looks the best. Less I/O. And just kind of fold it. That is battling it. There we go. That's using a plastic pry tool. Probably use something like a bank card if you've got an old bank card floating around. Now from there, should be able to get it to release most of the other sides just by prying my finger in between. And we are now in. So as you can see, we're not looking overly healthy. Fair bit of dust on here. To begin with, I will just show you how to remove the battery, which is undoing 1, 2, 3 screws, and that should lift out. If you're upgrading RAM or your NVMe or thermal paste like I'm doing, it would be recommended to remove a battery. It just lifts up and pulls forward, and we're out. These pins here slide into these pins here. As you can see, we're not looking that clean. Now this laptop is running in dual channel mode with the 2 sticks of RAM. I'm just pulling the tabs out, and that lifts it up and out. I'll just get you guys in here. These slide in on a 45-degree angle, in and down. Do take note of the notch that's here. There, that corresponds to here. So we put it in on a 45-degree angle and pull down. So we go in, down, we're in. There's a bit of hair there. Odd, but whatever. And the 2 pieces of hair. You can actually look to see what speed we are. We are 8 gig of 2666. There we go, 2666. Put that back in. Next up, let's have a look at the NVMe. So this is your storage, your expansion. Similar to the RAM, except it's also held in by a screw down the bottom here. That lifts up and wiggles back. And looking here, we are a Western Digital SN520. This particular one is a 500 gig model, so that can be upgraded up to a 2, maybe even a 3 terabyte if you wanted. So that's similar to the RAM, slots in, pull down, slot in, pull down. As you see, the pins are covered up the top here, and tighten that up, and we're good. From here, you'd either have to clone Windows or do a fresh reinstall of Windows, but that will do for the coverage on that. If you do damage your charger port, that is replaceable. It snakes around, or snakes under, and goes to here. So that is replaceable if you damage your charger port. Now let's look at the main event, or actually, let's look at the Wi-Fi card, which is here. Similar to the NVMe, down the bottom corner down here. This one, we have the Wi-Fi antenna, one screw, two connections, lifts up. So next up, I just want to remove this fan, just to see how much dirt and dust and general filth is built up in there. The screw's a bit small, but screwdriver's a bit small, but that's fine. It looks to be held on there by a single screw. And we have a fan header to remove. As you can see, dust, fold it up. Fairly caked over. So I'm going to go give this a hit with an air compressor. Ta-da! Fan's looking much happier. Spins perfectly fine. Now I just want to take the copper cooler off, as it looks to be that this here is blowing right into the back of here. So I feel like if I take this off, there's going to be a whole bunch of dust behind there as well. I just want to find out for sure. And while here, I'll replace the thermal paste. And lift. There we go. We're looking pretty clean down here. Thermal paste kind of everywhere. Looking up here at the vent. We are nice and clean. So from here, I'll set the fan back over here. I'm going to give these two a clean up, repaste it, and then we'll be right to go from there. Right to reassemble. So I'm going to use some tissue paper and some isopropyl alcohol. I'm going to spray that onto the tissue paper, which will enable me to wipe up the paste. Looking pretty good on there. Move that out of the way. Now let's focus on the chip. You may notice that the cooler itself is fairly small, and the copper cooler is also very small. And that is also because this is a very low wattage power processor or APU. Now we'll give it a hit one more time, and I will give it a little bit of a brush with a toothbrush, just to get those finer spots. There we go. Wipe down. Do a little bit up here that I need to get rid of. Okay, that's better. I'm happy with that. And from here I'm going to use some Arctic Silver 5. I say 3, no, I'm using 5. Granted, there probably is a 3. Just kind of dabbing it on there. And smear it around a little bit. No matter what I'm doing here, it will be wrong on the internet. Everyone always has an opinion on thermal paste. So good coverage, decent amount. I'm going to put cooler down and tighten that up. That's going to spread pretty darn well. There, push down and put those screws back in. We'll just loosely do them up to begin with. Bit of a cross pattern. And I'll go through and tighten them up. There, 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 and there. Nice and tight. I'll line this up. There is a little catch over here. And a single screw hole over here. So 2 little spots I need to push through, 1 screw to hold it. There we go. Next up from here, we have the battery, which slots into 1, 2, and 3. One, 2, and 3. So it goes in on an angle, goes in on an angle, pushes down, push here, and now the battery is reconnected, and put its 3 screws back into its original positions. And now we're good to reassemble. So RAM's in, both RAM sticks in, NVMe's in, fans reattached, connection's fine, Wi-Fi's fine. This is a thermal paste changed, dust blown out. I've given the bottom a bit of a dust as well, brush here just to get rid of where the dust was building up on the fan. And now we're right to put this back on. So I'll start on this side over here, just because on this side we've got all the I/O, so we kind of latch it over the top on an angle. Latch it over. Make sure those ports are all lining up reasonably well. And push down. Should start making a clicking, crunching sound. Open it up slightly, then you should be able to just pull it together. There we go. And then from there, putting those screws back in. Now, since all these screws are the same, you don't have to be concerned about where they go, as long as they go back into the machine. These little rubber feet that go on the bottom, I do find that they tend to stretch over time. So even taking them off, they tend to stretch out from there. But if I just lay it flat and just start in the center and go over it, that's pushed it back in. You may need to put down some new double-sided tape. And next up, here. There we go, same thing. So that's how you can work on your HP 15 db1068au. Hope this helps you, and I'll see you later. Bye.